Hey guys, I just wanted to say thank you for using my creator code whenever you purchase any Sims 4 DLC on the EA app or thesims.com. I receive a 5% commission each time you use my code, which means you're directly supporting me as a creator. I know there are a lot of codes floating around out there, so I am very grateful that you've chosen me to support in this way. Thank you so much. Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And before we get too far into it, this is not pre-recorded. It's not pre-recorded. If you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about, I have had a ton of pre-recorded builds and videos prepared for like months and months and months because I'm currently on maternity leave. But as I am building things in my spare time, of which I have very little, my baby is currently napping. That is pretty much what I've said in every voiceover as of late. I go ahead and build things and I get voiceovers done, and it's kind of working out so far. So this is a more recent build and I'm really excited about it because I've mentioned this before. I absolutely love the different architectural styles that you can find in New Orleans. So this is very much inspired by a lot of like the images I've found on Pinterest and Google Images and stuff like that of different homes and buildings in New Orleans and other parts of Louisiana as well. But I just absolutely love the rich culture and history of New Orleans. It's something that fascinates me, and I really have to dedicate the time to look into it more because there's such an appeal to me. I really, really like it. So I wanted to build something inspired by that, and it's on, I'll say, the larger scale. I mean, it's not a mansion by any means. It's not. I would consider a mansion something like 5 bedrooms plus. I don't know, maybe 4 bedrooms plus. We'll go with 5. Yeah, we'll go with 5. This is 3 bed, 3 bath. So I mean, it's still a pretty big house, especially space-wise. Like there is a lot of space on the interior, but it's definitely not a mansion. It's just got a bigger footprint, I suppose. But I really, really loved how it came together. So this wasn't intentional at first. What I did is I used the door from Strangerville that was white and dark blue. And then I used some base game windows with black shutters. And then I found the tile from, I think it was Lovestruck. I think it's from Lovestruck. That is a black tile that has little flower details that are white and dark blue. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's use all of that. That looks great. I used this fence from For Rent as well on this build, and I thought it looked really, really nice. And I carried that into the house a little bit. Like it's not a dark interior, but I carried the blues in a lot. And I don't know, this build, it's very special to me, and I don't know why. I just really, really, really like it. I feel like I captured a vibe that I have not captured before in a build, and it's a little bit different because I've done other builds inspired by New Orleans before, and I've done like shotgun style homes, you know, kind of things on the smaller end, and, you know, not as like fancy as this house, right? Like I've just made them very eclectic and kind of mismatchy and everything, and this one isn't, but I still wanted to capture a certain feeling. So I hope I achieve that, and I'll talk about it more when we get on to the interior because, yeah, I did a lot of details here. I used this fence from the Vampires game pack. I used this debug fence as well because what I saw a lot of like metal fencing, but it had kind of like the stone bottom to it. So I kind of made a faux fence, which I thought looked pretty decent. I was pretty happy with it. You can kind of see the bottom of the Vampires game pack fence there sticking out, but I didn't really care, so hopefully it doesn't bother you that much. And the landscaping on this build too, I love landscaping New Orleans inspired builds. I just do, but I have never used this tree from My Wedding Stories? Yeah, it's from My Wedding Stories, I think it is in the debug menu. Oh, it just brought it together. I was really happy. I was really happy. And I didn't make it like a super kempt yard or anything either. Like we've got like this wild grass, these shrubs, and then we have 2 different kinds of flowers as well as these big leafy plants, these big leafy boys here. I put a ton of those in. It just looked like it really would blend into the world of Willow Creek, in my opinion. So hopefully you all agree because I'm so proud of this build, and even though it's on the bigger side, I think it took me about, I mean, granted I was working on it in like chunks because of the way that new babies sleep. By the way, if you didn't know this, let's just go ahead and talk about babies now because I have one. My child takes about 5 naps a day, which is wild. I knew babies slept a lot, but I didn't realize they took that many actual naps before they went to sleep for the night. It's crazy. So yeah, this was very broken up, but I did it over the past like 3 days, which is not bad. I'm surprised that I was able to get this done because again, it's a big build. It just is. For me, it's a big build at least. Like I don't typically build on 50 by 50s or 64 by 64. That's the big one, right? See, I don't build on lots that big. But this was the Umbrage Manor lot. I think this is a 40 by 30, so it's still a decent size. But anyway, I'm just like rattling on about nothing. We're on to the interior. Now the floor plan was hard. It was hard because of where all of the big windows are. I knew it was going to be a challenge with it being basically the front and the back being mirrored, but I decided that, you know what, a house this big needs a really, really big living room. I didn't want to create like a double wide staircase because it was just taking up way too much space. And there's like a decent sized kitchen. We have a formal dining room. The primary bedroom is on the first floor, and then there's also a bathroom. And there's kind of like a little hallway that I turned into a seating area. I didn't really know what to do with the space, so that's what I ended up doing. But then upstairs there are 2 more bathrooms and 2 more bedrooms, as well as, well, we've got the landing area, but then there's also kind of this open space as well that kind of has like a computer and like some family games and things, like just to make it a functional space and not just decorative. But okay, this is where the vision was visioning when I got to the living room, which I say got to it as if it took me a while to get there. It was my 6th attempt, but it's the first room I did. And I used this fireplace from Life and Death and this chandelier from Businesses and Hobbies, and I was like, oh, okay. No, we're all right. Yes, this is what I'd like. This is working for me. I like this. It's got color. It's got fun patterns. It has like the very, very detailed little like design. What am I trying to say? It's very detailed, the woodwork. On the fireplace, very detailed stuff on the woodwork. I did cover up the skull though, because it's not exactly what I was going for, but like just everything else about that fireplace is gorgeous. And I put a flat screen TV there, and then I added this plant from the Paranormal Stuff pack, and I was like, yeah, we're good. No, I can do this. The rest of this build, I'm gonna love this build so much. Like I really loved this living room. I love these really dark blue swatches of those base game couches, using the medium wall height, by the way. Bookcases from Life and Death were just gorgeous. I got to use these medium wall height curtains from Cats and Dogs. I rarely build with the medium wall height, so this was actually kind of exciting because I got to use objects that I don't get to use a lot because they're designed specifically for taller wall heights. I also used this piece of artwork a handful of times throughout the build in different swatches because I just thought it kind of captured, again, a certain vibe. I was thinking about the Sims that would live here too, and I think that the parents, because it's for 2 parents and 2 teens, by the way, thought that was kind of neat. I don't know why, but I think that at least one of the parents is a musician, or is at least very, very much into music. Maybe they're more so into music production. I didn't add like the music production station thing from Get Famous or anything, but maybe they are a musician themselves and they help other artists produce their music. I don't know, but they have a grand piano, there's a guitar here, and there's a piece of artwork from Businesses and Hobbies that has a ton of different swatches of like saxophones and pianists and singers and just that whole kind of jazzy vibe. And I was like, yeah, okay, I see where we're going with this. I am happy. This is gonna work. And I really, really liked it. I add a ton of different details around this build to kind of allude to this being a very musical family. Like we have this little displayed saxophone, which I really wish the saxophone was an instrument that was introduced to The Sims 4. That would have been actually pretty cool. And did we ever have a saxophone in the Sims franchise? I don't think we did. Like, I'm trying to think of The Sims 2. I don't think we did. I feel like that would be a first. Correct me if I'm wrong, but here we are working on the dining room as well. And I used this rug from the Crystal Creations kit multiple times throughout this build and sized it up. And these chairs from For Rent, I just wanted this build to have a lot of personality, even though it is kind of a fancier, bigger space. I didn't want it to feel stale or, what's the word I'm looking for? like sterile. Do you know what I mean? I wanted it to still be very colorful, very vibrant. I used a lot of greenery, like there's plants everywhere, and just a lot of like fun decor in my opinion, as well as these sconces from the pack that shall not be named, but we're gonna have to name it, Journey to Batu. Honestly, the only thing I like about that pack are a lot of the lights. And some of the decorative items, like all the crates and stuff, like you can use them for a lot of different kinds of builds. Other than that, that pack is pretty useless to me. Not really a huge fan. I was thinking about this the other day. I held off getting that pack for a really long time because on principle, I was like, why did you do this? I cannot stand the fact that they made that pack. I ended up getting it eventually, obviously, but I held my ground for a little bit, and maybe I should do that a little bit more with other packs and like kits and stuff that are coming out, because I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, okay? I obviously love this game. I have an entire YouTube channel dedicated to it. I play it all the freaking time. Like, this is what I do in my spare time for the most part. However, I think we gotta slow down on the DLC. Maybe this is something that I should have said years ago, right? Like, I mean, I enjoy new content as much as the next person. I really do. I love having new stuff, of course, to build with, because I am, I'll say primarily a builder, but you all know I love me some gameplay, and I do play the game very often, but I really want there to be more of a focus on really bringing new gameplay to the game. Like, I understand that new expansion packs do that. Like, we just got fairies, right? We just got fairies. If you like fairies, you can be a fairy. There's a whole tier system. That's great. But I think what gets me is even when there are new elements of gameplay added, they recycle animations like no freaking other, and it makes the new gameplay feel old. It makes it feel also recycled. It's not new. It's not exciting. Like, there's nothing, the feedback isn't anything new for me as a player, because I'm seeing the same thing as I would for another interaction or something like that. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope I'm not just like shooting in the dark here, but that's just me, and I kind of want them to slow down on DLC here, because, I mean, first off, this game is 11 years old. The bugs are just like piling up, and I really want them to solely focus on the bugs and pause on new releases. I really actually want that at this point. I do. Even though the rumored new expansion and the leaks and everything looks cool, I would like a pause. That's just me. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is, I mean, you guys know this. I'm open to discussing all of this stuff in the comments. Just be respectful, you know? Just be respectful, because I know this is a little bit of a hot topic for some people, but it's worth talking about. It's important, especially if we care about this game and this franchise, so let me know what you think. But anyway, this is the seating area. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, didn't really know what to do with it, so I just added some of that furniture from the Paranormal Stuff Pack. Elite Stuff Pack, actually, I'm going to say that too. And this is going to be the downstairs bathroom. It is a full bathroom, and I used this, I think this tile's from Realm of Magic? Yeah, I think it's from Realm of Magic. And then I used the shower tub combo from the Vampires game pack as well. I actually used a fair amount of vampire stuff in here, like this little towel ring too, because why not? And again, tons of plants and everything. But I really liked this bathroom, and pretty much all of the bathrooms, I'll say, are the same. They might have a slightly different layout, and they might be a little bit smaller, but they're pretty much all the same. I think I only recorded one additional bathroom of the 3 for the build itself for you all to see it kind of come together, but yeah, they're not super exciting. It's a bathroom, right? It's a bathroom at the end of the day. It's not that exciting. Now, the room that I did struggle with the most, though, was actually the kitchen, and I think it's the last room we do on the first floor, because it freaking stumped me. I decorated this little hallway area quickly, and then I think I attempted the kitchen, but we move on to the primary bedroom because it was hard. I really wanted to use blues, so everything kind of matched together and meshed well, but I didn't want the entire, this is something I struggle with. Now, let me know if when you watch other people do it, it's cool, but when you do it, it doesn't feel right, because that's how it feels for me. When I tile an entire kitchen, especially a big kitchen like this one in this build, it just looks so off. But when I see somebody else do it, it looks amazing. But like, I couldn't wrap my brain around it, because I used the tile from the bathroom because it was this dark blue. I thought it was super pretty and it was going to work great with the kitchen. And I put it on the entire kitchen floor, and I despised it. I did not like it at all. It looked gross to me. But actually, no, we actually just go right to the bedroom. We go right to the primary bedroom, which I used a ton of Life and Death in this build. I used this bed from Life and Death. I thought it was really pretty, and it was kind of nice because I was able to use a lot of blues like I did in the rest of the build, but bringing in this orange swatch of the bedding and then also the rocking chair from Life and Death was kind of nice. It was a nice change, and blue and orange go pretty well together, so I thought it worked out pretty nicely. I thought it looked really, really cool. And I ended up using this wallpaper as well from the Cozy Bistro kit. See what I'm talking about? There's so many freaking kits, man. The Cozy Bistro kit, I think. And I used it in pretty much every single bedroom as well, just in different swatches. So for the two teens, I think one of them, it's kind of like the emerald green color, and then the other is the black swatch. It looks really good. I actually really like that wallpaper because it's got that nice kind of wainscoting detail and everything. Like, it's not just a flat color. I think it's really, really pretty. And I've got this like standing mirror here. Again, a ton of plants. We've got the chandelier. And I think I added a little shelf with pieces of artwork over the bed from the brand new kit, the mudroom kit by Peacemaker. I forget the actual formal name, but I think it's from that. I want to say it's from that. I could be completely wrong, but it's an item that I hadn't seen before. I hadn't really looked at the kit since I got them, so I assume it's from that because I saw the little icon. I was like, I haven't seen this before. I see I'm encountering new items. Cool. And yeah, I put it above the bed just to add a little bit of something because it just that wall looked really, really blank, but it was just enough decoration, in my opinion. And then I just toss a few things on top of the dresser here, and then in the little hallway that kind of separates this primary bedroom with the kitchen, on each end of it, I just add some of the walk-in closets from Get Together, actually, because I had no idea what to do with that space. But here's the tile. So, oh, I just bumped my mic, sorry. Hopefully you didn't hear that. But here's the tile. Again, I had tiled the entire kitchen. I didn't like it, so I only tiled part of it. And I was okay with it. And this is my first attempt at the kitchen. I was trying to use the same countertops and cabinets that I used in the bathroom that are base game. But I wasn't liking it, and I tried to use these backsplash pieces from Lovestruck to bring in more blue, but it was a little bit more of a lighter blue with this dark blue tile. I don't know, it just seemed really busy, and I didn't enjoy it, so I went bold, and I said, let's use the Life and Death cabinets and countertops, darker appliances, and use the same tile on the wall that I have on the floor. And for some reason, I freaking love it. I would have never, ever thought to do that and think that I would like it, genuinely. I also used the bar height stools from Life and Death in the dark blue, and then I added a little breakfast table with these chairs from For Rent, again, trying to bring in a lot of personality and things like that to this space, and I freaking loved it. I loved it so, so much. This is probably one of my favorite kitchens that I've done in the past couple of months, let's say. I'm not going to say of all time. I'd really have to go back and watch half of my videos to even remember a lot of the kitchens I've done, but I really, really like this kitchen. And I think what topped it off was using one of those pieces of artwork from the Cozy Bistro kit. And it had, it's got like the little like butler or chef and then like the checkered floor. Do you know what I mean? You know what swatch I'm talking about? This one right here. I don't know, it just topped it off for me. It just really, really fit. I added another one of these plants in the corner from Businesses and Hobbies. We've got a little side table with a few things just to add some decoration, but it came together so well, and I was so thrilled with this space. I'm really glad that I did it last because the vision wasn't visioning when I tried it the first time. In fact, I didn't really have a vision the first time around, but yeah, I just add a couple of decorations here as well. Just trying to pick some things too that were a little bit more eclectic and had a little bit more personality to them. I don't know. I wanted it to really fit. And then I cluttered up the kitchen. Oh, and I just mentioned this, Journey to Batu. It's not my favorite pack, but I used a lot of the hanging lights in the interior as well. Maybe not a lot, but a couple. And then I also used them on the exterior on the porches, but I did size them down because some of those lights are actually freaking huge and I wanted them to, of course, fit the space. But I added some floating shelves here as well in the kitchen, just so the countertops weren't super duper cluttered. The kitchen clutter kit, of course, came in handy here because it's kitchen clutter. And I added a little cookie jar, which I love to add now because if you didn't already know this, I mean, I learned this a while ago, but I like sharing it every now and then when I use that item, is it's a functional cookie jar. So your Sims will go ahead and pluck a cookie from the jar. Okay, I should be very clear with this. There's no animation of them taking a cookie from the jar, which is like really, really disappointing. But they will just whip out like a plate with a cookie on it and they'll have a cookie. But I mean, at least it adds something. I've said this before. My big thing is just like recycled animations because it makes new interactions and like quote unquote new gameplay feel like we've seen it a million times before. That is an instance where I think adding an animation would have been really beneficial. Anyway, I digress. I won't get on a soapbox again. I am just adding some mugs up here to this floating shelf. We have a standing mixer in the corner. I don't typically add these smaller appliances, but I figured, why not? I don't know. Maybe one of the parents likes to bake or like do stuff like that a lot. Who knows? And then we move on to the second floor. And again, this is where the 2 teen bedrooms are and the additional 2 bathrooms. Now, I do show you all the furnishing of one additional bathroom just because I figured you might want to see it, but it's nothing too exciting. And I don't show the furnishing of the third one because it's pretty much identical. I also made a bigger kind of open staircase because I thought that a house like this really deserved it, to be frank. And I'm really glad it worked because if you don't know, if you've tried this before, like it can be really difficult to do because if there are roof pieces that are poking into that specific room that you're trying to create the open staircase in, they'll start clipping into the room because now it's like 2 separate rooms, quote unquote. Does that make sense? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Because the game just like doesn't recognize what you're trying to do. So you'll see like a roof piece clipping into the room and it can be absolutely maddening. Sometimes you can resolve it. Like there are times where you can pull the trim in so it's just enough that it's not poking into the room. But thankfully I didn't have to worry about that with this build and I was thrilled because I really wanted a bigger open staircase like this with a chandelier hanging from the ceiling. Well, where else would it be hanging from? But where else would it be hanging from? But I wanted a bigger chandelier there too. But I used the same one that I used in pretty much every room here. And then I just quickly decorate this landing area. And then here's the bathroom. I did have to kind of reconfigure a few things because it was a little bit difficult with how many windows were in this bathroom. But I ended up making it work. It's not my favorite layout for a bathroom, but again, it's functional and that's really all that matters at the end of the day. And this is actually when I realized that we had that piece of artwork from Businesses and Hobbies that had a lot of the like musical notes and jazz influences and things. So I used it a handful of times upstairs, I think primarily upstairs. I don't think I used it downstairs, but it was a really, really useful piece of artwork. I was thrilled to have rediscovered it, if you will, because I completely forgot about it. And then this is going to be just kind of another sitting room. Like I didn't know what to do with the space at all. So I added the Don't Wake the Llama table, some more bookcases. And again, we've got the, we'll call it like the family computer, because I think I do give one of the teens their own computer. I think they like playing games or streaming games and stuff as well. So they have their own little setup in their room, but this is the family computer. Anybody can use it. I don't think that either of the parents I didn't think they needed a home office because again, I thought that at least one of them was into music and maybe music production. I feel like they're primarily musicians and maybe they don't really, I don't want to say they don't bring their work home because they've got the piano and a ton of instruments in this build. So they obviously are a musical family, but if they're into like music production, like they don't have a studio in their house. You know what I mean? Their home is their home. They kind of keep their work separate in that sense. But this is going to be the very first teens room. I was going to go with yellow and try to make it super bright. And I really did like this yellow swatch of this wallpaper, but I ended up going really dark actually, because I was trying to find things that I thought, I don't know. I was trying to at first match it to the rest of the house, which is probably why I was struggling a little bit. But once I found that there was a black swatch of this particular wallpaper that I used in the entire build, and I was able to grab this rug from high school years as well, that kind of had that mystical, magical edge to it. I'm like, all right, okay, cool. This will work. I feel like I've said that like 5 different times during this voiceover as well. I'm doing it over the course of like 2 days. I've had to take a break because, you know, new baby and everything. But, Yeah, sorry if I sound repetitive during this voiceover. I'm like struggling. It's not the lack of sleep. My child actually sleeps pretty well. I think it's just because my brain is so scattered all the time because my day is broken up into like hour-and-a-half blocks pretty much. It's like a child's awake for maybe an hour to an hour and a half. Child sleeps for half an hour to an hour. And then they're up for another hour, hour and a half. So like my brain is just constantly like, what can I get done in this super short amount of time? What do I have to get done with them when they're awake? And repeat. You know what I mean? Like I literally, before I put them down for this nap, I ran downstairs, like I put laundry on, I swapped the dishes in the dishwasher super quick, I like folded some towels, I did tummy time, like, oh, I was on it. And then all of a sudden they retired and I'm like, time to get you in the crib, like, let's go. And then I can finish my voiceover. So it's just, I'm just constantly moving really, really fast. And sometimes I repeat myself when I have to talk for a very long period of time as well. But I talked all the way through this room, really liked it. I liked the kind of like paranormal, mystical vibe to this room because I think it not only fits the theme of the build and things like that, but it has like a darker edge to it, like I said. So I really liked that. I also gave them a keyboard because, again, I think that this family is a little bit musical. And even though they're kids, like their teens here have some, of course, different interests, they're also pretty musical teens as well, I would say. So I think that one at least took up piano. Maybe one of the parents specifically plays piano, or maybe they both do, I don't know. And then this teen room over here is a little bit more nature themed. You know, it's just brighter colors and things like that. But I think I gave them a guitar, and again, there's a guitar downstairs too. So maybe each teen kind of like gravitated towards one instrument over the other, but both of their parents play multiple instruments. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm thinking. A very musical family. But I liked this room. I loved all of these, like, I would consider it kind of like more of a tealy green color. And I love how many objects we actually have in that color now that work together. I was really thrilled to see that because it's not a color that we have in like every single pack. You know what I mean? We don't have objects with swatches with that color from every pack. It's just been more recent packs that are a little bit more matchy and can mesh together in my opinion. So that's kind of nice. And I've got the dresser over there. We have the bookcase, which I don't think the bookcase is accessible, but there's tons of bookcases in this build, so I was not worrying about it at all. And then I end up giving, this is the team that has their own computer setup and their own desk. So I thought that that was kind of nice, a little bit different, kind of shows that they're into some different things compared to their sibling. I had originally thought of trying to use the solo cheerleading mat, but even that was actually pretty big for the space, so I didn't do that. But I give them this desk here from the Crystal Creations kit. They've got their guitar in the corner, and then I gave them a full gaming streaming setup. I think it's the one from the Comfy Gamer kit. I think it's that one. Yeah, it's from the Comfy Gamer kit. And I used this tarot card wall art, I think, in both teen rooms, just in different swatches. Because again, they're both kind of into that similar thing. They're really into kind of the mystical, magical, metaphysical type stuff. But again, their interests do vary a little tiny bit. Like they're super into gaming. They've got like their fancy headset. They've got a little controller. They have one of their really nice keyboards that they like. They mainly keep it on display, but they don't use it a lot. I personally, actually, I'm curious. Do you all have multiple keyboards by any chance? So I don't have multiple keyboards, but what I did do, I shared this, I think probably well over a year ago at this point. So I have the Logitech, it was like it's got the little cloud armrest or wrist rest thing. It was a whole set. It was like a keyboard, the little wrist rest, and then a mouse. And I think I only used the keyboard from that set and the wrist rest. I got like an ergonomic mouse because a couple of years ago, I also really injured my arm and my hand and my wrist. And I was like, I'm never going to be able to play The Sims again. This is devastating. We're all good. But anyway, my keyboard, I don't have multiple keyboards, but I am using the one from that little set. But what I did is I took all the keycaps off because I got some Lord of the Rings Elven keycaps and I freaking love them. I love them. Thank goodness they actually have like the English alphabet on them still and all the symbols, so I don't have to learn Elvish to be able to use my keyboard. But I really like it. It's really, really pretty. I don't know. Do you guys have multiple keyboards though? I feel like a lot of people collect them depending on if they're like mechanical keyboards, depending on the clickety-clackety sound, or they have things that are softer. There are some that were like limited edition, some like smaller keyboards versus kind of the large ones with like the whole numpad and everything. It's something I'm not personally into, but I feel like there are definitely people that are. Anyway, we're working on the backyard. Had no idea what to do with it at first. Literally no idea, but I did add a rounded pool, which I thought was really nice. And we had this pool trim, I think from the Riviera Retreat kit. I want to say it was, and it was kind of like a dark blue and black, so it worked really nicely with this whole color scheme. Now these umbrellas are debug from my wedding story, so they do not open, but I like them as like a little detail here. We have a floaty. And then I was going to add outdoor dining here, but we had these giant porches, so I decided not to do that. I tried a few things just to see if I liked it, and I just didn't, so I got rid of the stone, and I just added a little fire pit. I didn't really know what to do with this. I've been struggling with backyards lately. I have not been super confident with them. But then I do put an outdoor dining set here on this back porch, as well as a grill, and then I add some of those like, those hanging like egg woven chair things from high school years on multiple porches as well. And I think I also took some chairs from For Rent, some little armchairs that looked a little bit more woven as well. And I added those to all of the other porches, like the front porches and stuff, with some lights and little side tables. But that's pretty much it for this build. I hope you all enjoyed this one. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.